We're used to seeing popular manga get anime adaptations, but what if there's no anime, just a live-action version? Today we'll explore 7 manga that skipped anime and went straight to live-action movies and TV series. Why did this happen? Which adaptations nailed it, and which ones flopped? Let's dive in! I Am a Hero, a film based on one of the best zombie mangas ever created. Original manga was created by Kengo Hanazawa, known for his unique storytelling. The story follows Hideo Suzuki, a struggling manga artist whose life is a mess. But when a zombie outbreak known as the Zequit hits Japan, he's forced to step up. The big question is, can he become the hero he always wanted to be? What makes I Am a Hero stand out is how realistic it feels. Unlike other zombie stories, this one shows how an ordinary person reacts to the end of the world. And trust me, the Zequit are some of the creepiest zombies you'll ever see. If you love unique horror films, you should definitely check this out. And if you want an even darker, more detailed story, read the manga! A cycle of death and rebirth. All You Need Is Kill tells the story of a soldier trapped in an endless war. Today we're breaking down the novel, manga, and Hollywood adaptation. All started with Hiroshi Sakurazaka's Todiao 4 light novel. Soldier Kiji Kuria dies fighting mysterious aliens known as mimics, only to wake up at the start of the same day. Over and over again, to survive, he must become the ultimate warrior. This novel became a cult classic among sci-fi fans. In 2014, the story was adapted into a manga, illustrated by Death Note artist Takeshi Obata. The action became even more intense, and Kiji's transformation from a rookie to a cold-blooded killer was more gripping than ever. And then there's Rita Vrataski, the legendary Fullmetal bitch, even more badass and terrifying in the manga. Same year, Hollywood released Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. The movie changed the setting and character names but kept the time loop concept. Instead of Kiji Kuria, we got William Cage and the Mimics. They became even more terrifying. Which version is the best? Each one has its strengths. The manga delivers high-speed action with stunning artwork. The novel dives deep in the psychology and details, and the movie, a blockbuster thrill ride. What if deception wasn't a crime, but the key to survival? In 2005, manga artist Katani Shinobu created a story that would redefine psychological thrillers, Liargame. Shinobu was inspired by real psychological experiments. How do people behave when high stakes are involved? The central theme is it possible to stay honest in a world where everyone is lying? Nao Kanzaki, the Navenkind protagonist, is thrown into a ruthless game of deception. But she isn't alone, she has a secret weapon, the brilliant strategist Akiyama Shinichi. With its success, Liargame got multiple adaptations. The 2007 Japanese drama released, staying true to the manga's thrilling atmosphere. Later, a second season and a movie expanded the story. In 2014, Korea released its own Liargame, featuring a darker tone and even higher stakes. Instead of just money, players gambled with their very lives. Whether in manga or live-action, Liargame is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Which version do you like better? And if you were invited to play, would you accept? Comedy manga about delinquents are always popular, but Yankee Kun to Megane-chan stands out with its fun characters and chaotic energy. The manga Yankee Kun to Megane-chan was serialized from 2006 to 2011, written and illustrated by Miki Yoshikawa. It follows Daichi Shinagawa, a typical delinquent who couldn't care less about school. That is until he meets Hana Adachi, an honor student with glasses, who turns out to be a former delinquent. She is determined to get him involved in school life, leading to endless hilarious situations. This manga balances comedy, school drama, and action-packed moments, while also exploring the characters' past struggles. In 2010, Yankee Kun to Megane-chan was adapted into a live-action drama, but it made some big changes to the story. The series kept the comedic tone but removed key parts of the manga. While the drama had its own charm, fans were disappointed by the simplified plot and character changes. In the end, it did become a major hit. Today, Yankee Kun to Megane-chan isn't often talked about, but its humor and characters would be a perfect fit for a modern adaptation, maybe even anime. A remake could fully explore the original story and give fans the adaptation they've been waiting for. When you hear Oldboy, you probably think of Park Chan-wook's legendary film. But did you know this story actually started as a Japanese manga? We'll explore the original manga and its adaptations, comparing their differences and impact. The Oldboy manga was serialized in Japan from 1996 to 1998, written by Garou Sachaya and illustrated by Nobuaki Minagishi. The story follows a man imprisoned in a private jail for 10 years with no explanation. When his suddenly release, he embarks on a quest to find out who locked him up and why. Unlike the film adaptations, the manga leans heavily on psychological tension and detective mystery rather than raw action. There's no epic hammer fight or shocking twist, but the gripping story keeps you hooked until the very last page. In 2003, director Park Chan-wook adapted Oldboy into a film, but with major changes. His version follows Oh Dae-soo, who spends 15 years in captivity instead of 10. The villain's motives are much darker, and the story builds toward a truly disturbing climax. The film won the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival and became a cult classic, praised for its cinematography, storytelling, and unforgettable twists. A decade later, Hollywood attempted its own version of Oldboy, directed by Spike Lee and starring Josh Brolin. The remake aimed to stay faithful to the original's intensity, but ultimately fell flat. From a Japanese manga to a Korean masterpiece and a failed Hollywood remake, Oldboy has been told in many ways, but for most fans, Park Chan-wook's film remains the definitive version. Holyland, a story about the brutal world of street fighting, created by the Japanese author Moritada Koji. The story follows Yu Kamishiro, a teenager who enters the violent world of street fights, seeking his place in life. The manga was written and illustrated by Moritada Koji, a master of blending intense action with deep character psychology. In 2005, the first live-action adaptation aired in Japan. Yosuke Ito played the lead role of Yu Kamishiro, bringing the manga's tense atmosphere to life. Then in 2012 came the Korean adaptation, offering a more dynamic approach, with modernized characters and high-energy fight choreography. Each version brings something different. The Japanese one is more psychological, while the Korean version is all about high-paced action. Both the manga and its adaptations offer not just action, but deep reflections on life, loneliness, and self-discovery. Yu Kamishiro is a character who faces difficult choices, and his story continues to inspire fans worldwide. If you haven't experienced Holyland yet, now's the time to dive into the world of street fights and psychological drama. 20th Century Boys is a legendary manga by Naoki Urasawa, full of conspiracies, secret societies, and rock and roll. The manga was created by a master of suspense and mystery. His works are always deep, thrilling, and thought-provoking. The story follows Kenji and his childhood friends, who once created a story about an evil villain taking over the world, but years later their fantasy becomes reality. In 2008, the manga was adapted into a live-action film. The first part covers the hero's childhood and the rise of the mysterious cult leader friend. The trilogy wrapped up in 2009, bringing the manga's mystery and tension to the big screen, but did it truly capture the depth of the original story? The manga dives deeper into the story, but the movies still deliver an exciting experience. Will we ever get a new adaptation? Fans are hoping for an anime or remake. What do you think? Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more anime facts every week. Until next time, stay awesome!